What's good with y'all, family? How y'all doing? This is Mario Matthews, owner and operator of Menace Till Dawn Productions, and author of the book Dream No More: Rise of a Lion. Dream No More: Rise of a Lion is a coming-of-age tale featuring a young boy named Lion who was torn from his family due to a civil war and injured and taken in by a host family that nursed him back to health to find out that not only has he been displaced from the opposite side of his continent, but his family has also been captured by an evil sorceress. So now Lion, Dior, and Lisa are on a quest to retrace their steps back to where they found him in order to unravel the mystery surrounding his unique circumstances and to hone his skills for the journey ahead. Dream More: Rise of a Lion is in stores right now on Amazon and Lulu.com. You can pick this book up on an ebook, hardback and paperback version. Thank you very much for all the love and support. So, today's video, I actually come with some good news. Some good news. So, my book has finally received an independent review from Literary Portals. It was a great process. I really appreciate all of the honest and the honest, the raw review of it. That was a very important for me in my learning and growing process. And what I'm going to do in this video, I am just going to read over the review verbatim. I'm not going to interject or anything. And I just want to bring awareness to the review process itself, or at least the final results of this review process. As a business owner and as a as an author myself, this is a learning and a growing process for me, and I want to be as transparent as possible with my audience. And I love to see feedback. I love to see reviews because that's how I learn and grow. You feel me? So with that being said, I want to bring this awareness and bring this attention to to this, and use this honest review and bring it to my audience. You feel me? So let's get it started. Um, let's see. All right. Okay. And in the description of this video, I'm going to leave a link to the review itself by Literary Portals. Much love and respect to Miss. Let me make sure I got her name correctly. Miss Susanna. Miss Susanna, thank you very much for the review. I really appreciate it. All right, so let's get this ball on the road, shall we? Or this car, whatever. All right, so Miss Susanna starts the review. It states, or what made me read it. So Miss Susanna writes, I was sent a copy of the book in exchange for an honest review. The author described it as a story with an encompassing world filled with uncharted territories, dangerous monsters, and natural wildlife, and superhero like characters. So, she goes on to explain the plot. Lyon Kendall is a young boy living with his family in the Meridian Forest of the planet Ni when a violent conflict between North and South Ryan breaks out into war. It breaks the peace treaty between the two kingdoms, separated from his family, while his parents and aunt attempts to stop the two armies with their powerful abilities. Lyon tries to escape to safety through the forest when he is rendered unconscious by a violent explosion. Lyon wakes up severely wounded under the care of the Kendricks deep inside the military nation state of the Federal Union, with no memories of how he got there. While recovering from his injuries, he learns his family has been captured and held hostage by Astronomus, a sorceress who has declared war on all nation states of the planet Ni, posing as the final incarnation of the Liberator, and leading the Great Mountain Kingdom on a conquering campaign across the planet. Lyon is determined to save his family from the clutches of the dangerous sorceress, but he must first learn to control his energy stream, the source of his natural abilities, or the source of his abilities. As an illegal immigrant inside the federal union, and the last member of the Renzito, a hunted down race of powerful warriors thought to be extinct since times long gone, Lyon is himself a target. To avoid capture and detention, Dior Kendrick and his teenage daughter Lisa Kendrick takes him to Mount Havaris to undergo heavy training. Lyon must not only hone his skills while surviving the dangerous wildlife of Ni, but also avoid the Federal Union's arbitrators and military division led by General Idle and his agent, Major Olivia, who want to use him as a weapon of conquest. And the Shaodui clan, a secretive group of powerful beings who want to control Lyon, whom they call the Cradle, both an enemy and the one who will bring forth salvation to Ni. Okay, so it goes on to go to the next section, the good. So, Dream No More Rise of a Lion is the first volume of an epic fantasy story with thrilling action sequences and a mix of magical and science fiction elements. It follows the adventures of young Lyon Kendrick in his quest of self-discovery while learning to control his enhanced abilities in order to save his captured family from the powerful sorceress bent on conquering all nation states of planet Ni. The world building is imaginative and complex. A planet on another solar system populated by several diverse species and sentient races on different levels of the evolutionary scale, from monsters and beasts, the deadly wildlife of planet Ni, to humanus and huma of the humanoids, some of them capable of manipulating the energy stream of their bodies and the surrounding environment, the source of enhanced abilities and magical like powers, a world with a well thought out background, history, and rich mythology divided into several rival nation states competing for natural resources in a dangerous land where science and religion clash for domination. Domination. On one side, the Federal Union, the most technologically advanced nation state set on expanding its territory through military might. On the other, the secretive Shaodui clan, followers of the Holy Mother and the Lunan Ecliptical, using deception and forbidden mystical techniques to infiltrate and control other tribes. The author explores themes of personal responsibility, slavery and social class, xenophobia and immigration. Let's see, autocracy and despotism. There we go. All right. So moving on to the not so good. The not so good. The story of Dream No More has a lot of potential. The complex world building, the rich mythology, the action sequencing featuring really cool enhanced abilities, and all the themes explored make for an interesting and griping story. Unfortunately, the structure of the book is a mix of script and narrative format, which I personally find confusing and not the most appropriate for an epic fantasy novel. The narrative format is only used to describe the action sequencing in order to explore the world building and all of its elements. The author makes use of long and densely detailed dialogues between the characters, plus the voice of a very sporadic narrator who only function is to work as an extra info dump delivery system. The author has yet to find the right balance between useful and irrelevant dialogue. At times, the narrative dwells too long on scenes that add very little to the plot, describing every single yes, minutia in the life of a character and slowing down the pace considerably. Other times, we're introduced to a huge amount of elements specific to the world that only get developed and explained several chapters later, by which time I had already lost interest in what they were meant to be. Also, the language doesn't fit this particular context. As a reader of an epic sci-fi fantasy, I have concern. I have certain expectations. Excuse me. I have certain expectations, and hearing characters from a completely alien planet speaking in Earth's 21st century modern slang just isn't one of them. The discrepancy took the fun out of the reading. The dialogues are stiff, unnatural, and at times repetitive. And because of the chosen scripted format, the characters themselves have very little to no development at all, making them too stereotypical and one dimensional. It's not a bad story or a bad plot, but the book does need some polishing so it can catch up and maintain a reader's interest and investment for long periods of time. This is, however, a personal opinion. Other readers might enjoy this book and the format in which it was written. Final rating is a 2 out of 5. Dream No More Rise of a Lion is the first volume of a coming of age epic fantasy saga written in both a script and narrative format with plenty of gripping action sequences and a mix of magical like and science fiction elements. Recommended for those who enjoy stories with monster like fantastical creatures and characters with enhanced abilities. All right. And then after that, it goes on to my bio, and I really appreciate that. So, with that being said, for the my closing statement with the review, I really appreciate the review. This honest reviews is definitely how I grow. I definitely have all the intent in the world to take this as a learning process. It is a learning process, and take this as a learning experience. I have every intent to, definitely digest the review itself, and to apply elements that I believe will be, the best way to go forward with this. Because, like I said, it's the first book, and although I do have a lot of plans in place to, progress the series itself, I do understand that, going the not so traditional route when it comes to the very format that I'm using, because the format is the catch 22 of the book itself. That's purposeful. That's very purposeful. Like, I did that purposely due to the fact that one, this is how I grew up writing, and two, I think it's a very unique format that that makes it stands out from the crowd. So that in of itself is, to me, that is a very very unique way of going about writing and introducing this sort of series to the audience. So with that being said, in the future, I do seek to do improvements on the format. You feel me? So do improvements on the format, and do improvements on the pacing of the book, because I do understand that this was a hefty text text driven book, And my whole thing is, I do understand that this, I could have, for all, okay, for full transparency, I could have cut it into two books. But the real reason I did that, I did it like I did, is because, I didn't want to cut it into two books and then charge full price for both books. You feel me? Like the way I written it, it's a very smooth transition all the way through. I felt as if I cut it into two books, it would have felt forced, and it would feel like a money grab at that point. And I did not want my audience to feel alienated because, I cut it into two different books, and it's quite obvious that, the ending here did not transition well to the beginning there. You see what I'm saying? So I didn't want to have that sort of feel to the book. I wanted it to feel natural, to flow genuinely. And, that's probably one of the reasons why, the dialogue and stuff like that goes as long as it does. Because I wanted it to flow naturally. And I thought, I believe, I still do. I believe that that is the route, that I have chosen. And I definitely stand by that. And I really appreciate the honest review because this is a learning process. So, my next book, I'm definitely going to have a lot of improvements because, man, let me tell you something. This experience has been amazing. Like I've learned so much in this process from the time that I finished my the first manuscript for this book, all the times in between when it comes to, getting all the business side together, getting my funds together, hiring my contractors, all that good stuff. Like the next time around, like I've written notes. I made sure I have everything, the whole process written down. So with that being said, my next book in this series is going to be like amazing, and I feel very, very confident about this. So with that being said, man, shouts out to Literary Portals. Much love and respect for the review, and you can check out the review in the link below in the description. Also, if you like to show some love, show some support, please like, share, and subscribe to this video. And we're also on Patreon, so you could join us on Patreon where we have exclusive content for Patreon members, dealing with our products, up and coming news stories and things of that nature. So thank you. I really appreciate all the love and support, y'all. You can purchase Dream No More Rise of a Lion. It is in stores right now on Amazon and Lulu.com. You can pick it up right now. You can pick up this paper book or this hardback version on Lulu.com. Hardback is dope, man. But thank y'all so much. Much love and respect. Y'all take care. Everlast.